Recently, I've been browsing the classified websites, the controllers, even barnstormers, and of course our own classified site, airavion.com, and just looking at the prices of some of these airplanes, it's ridiculous to me. And this is coming from somebody who also sells airplanes, and it's why I feel the need to make this video and share this information with you guys, because when I get a call or we get some inquiry from a potential buyer who's looking to either buy an experimental plane or a certified airplane, and then we tell them the price, they're shocked. If you do your own research, whatever I say in this video, I want you to also go fact check it yourself. Go on any classified sites and see just how much these airplanes are selling for. Now, we'll get into the reasons why the cost has gone up, and some of the things that are just affecting the market right now. We are in an inflated market all around. Anything you can think of has seen a spike in price, including airplanes. So let's go through a list here, okay? And we'll start with the big boys. Now, I want to focus specifically on personal aircraft because that's what I care about. And I assume that's what a lot of pilots and potential pilots who watch this channel care about. Personal aircraft. This is our dream, right? Let's start with the big boys. Cirrus has the prestige, the practicality, the comfort, the parachute, and of course the price tag. Now, the story of Cirrus is a bit funny because this airplane manufacturer, when they came out as one of the most expensive airplanes to begin with in the single piston engine class, right? And you have a lot of pilots who barked at the idea that an airplane can cost this much. Although Cirrus is able to justify the price, and they do outsell just about everybody else, even at that high cost. And by a few years, let's say pre-pandemic, pilots were barking at the idea that a Cirrus SR22 cost $600,000, $700,000, right? Now you look in the market and it would be very difficult to find a Generation 6 SR22 for less than $1 million. You have the turbo model that's selling for north of $1.2 million. That's turboprop jet territory just 2 years ago. But that is the cost of a Gen 6 right now of a Cirrus SR22 turbo. Now, you may ask yourself, why on God's green earth is this happening? Well, pandemic really turned a lot of things upside down, and globally, the markets were shifted, right? So you think about two main factors. During the pandemic, we had a scarcity in parts, in manufacturing, and a whole lot of other things. And this affected the supply of just about everything, right? If you were building a house a year or 2 years ago, you'd see that the cost of materials went way up. Lumber is a great example. You saw the prices for lumber go crazy. Now, when you come to airplanes, guess what? Airplanes need parts to be built. And the prices for airplanes also went up, partly because one, you have manufacturing facilities that were closed down because of the pandemic, and then to be able to source out your supply chain was just a bad situation. So you had one, a scarcity in parts, and then the second big factor is the fact that a lot of money was made in the last 2 years. Okay, now you had a lot of families who were going through it during the pandemic, but also the stock market was crazy. So many people made a ton of money during the pandemic, which allowed for demand to also increase. So demand for airplanes actually increased during the pandemic, and then you had supply low. And if you understand the basics of economics, low supply, high demand means higher prices. And so all of that trickled down to why we're seeing a crazy spike in the prices of these airplanes. Now let's move down to some alternatives. Say you can't afford a Cirrus that costs $1 million, and you're looking for other airplanes that can have similar performance and similar practicality, and you go in the experimental world. I'm in the experimental world. Say you're looking at a Lancer RV10 or a Sling TSI. Guess what? The prices for these airplanes also went up. And this is coming from somebody who actually deals Sling TSIs. I hate having to tell a customer or a potential customer that, hey, the prices for the kit now cost XYZ more. The prices for engine now cost more. That's just the case. So again, prices for parts has gone up, and I don't make the prices, the supply chain does, the main manufacturer does. And so if you're looking in the experimental world also, just a few years ago when I built my airplane, it cost roughly $300,000 to get a fully loaded airplane. Now, if you want to build a similar airplane with same features, you're looking at about $40,000, $50,000 more. And if you're looking for a ready built one that's used, the last Link TSIs that sold for $350,000. So same around that price. The same thing goes for the RV10. If you're looking in the market right now and you want a fairly new RV10, you're probably looking at north of $300,000 for that airplane. Not too long ago, you could find an RV10 in the market for 200 grand or less. But right now, you're gonna spend $50,000 to $100,000 more for experimentals. Now let's move to the most desired airplanes. For a lot of pilots, this is the class that you're looking at, your entry-level planes, the Cessna 172s, the Piper Cherokees that are 40, 50 years old. These are generally airplanes that new entry pilots or owners are looking at. Unfortunately, these planes have also doubled in price in some cases. Okay, so a few years ago when I made list videos, I was telling you could find an airplane for $30,000 or less. And in that category, we had the Cessna 150, we had the Piper Cherokee 140. These planes don't cost that low anymore. Guys, you now have Cessna 150s selling in the $50,000 range, which is just, it's mind-blowing to me, because a few years ago, when I was looking at one point in time at 150s, this was 5-7 years ago, and I could find these planes for $15,000, $16,000, less than 20 grand. You look in the market today, you're definitely north of $30,000 for Cessna 150s. And in some cases, these planes cost as much as $50,000 or in the $40,000 to $50,000 range. And then you have your Piper Cherokee, one that we featured on this channel. As a matter of fact, we featured several Piper Cherokees on this channel. And just pre-pandemic, you could find these planes in the $30,000, maybe mid-30s. For Piper Cherokee 140, 160. We've even featured the bigger engine Cherokees that were $40,000 or less. Guess what? You're looking at a nice Piper Cherokee today. You're in the $70,000, $80,000 range for Piper Cherokees, which is just, it's mind-blowing to me. And this makes it more difficult for new entry owners to find something at a reasonable cost. And guess what? Just buying the airplane is the starting cost. The cost of ownership also goes up for older airplanes. I can guarantee you, if you buy a 30 to 50-year-old airplane, maintenance is gonna dig in your pocket. That's just a given. This is why the dream of owning a personal aircraft now feels even further out for a lot of pilots. If you've saved up $20,000, $30,000 and you feel like, okay, I'm gonna find something, and chances are you could still find something in those price range, but some of the more reputable airplanes that we've covered on the channel, that I've listed in videos, these airplanes now cost, like I said, double in some cases. And if you're looking at the premium models, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars more, which sucks. Frankly, that's the market right now. And it's one of the reasons why we created Airmojo. That's my solution to some of these problems. Is if you want to own and fly an airplane, it makes more sense to share the cost with several people than to own it by yourself. As a matter of fact, right now, you would find a lot of pilot owners who sell a share of their airplane and have an owner. The only challenge with sharing an airplane is, one, schedule, also character. When you're given access to your airplane or vice versa, you want to make sure that the people that you're partnering with and sharing your airplane with are good standing people and people that you can trust. So that's the only challenge. But if you're looking to get into airplane ownership right now, I would highly recommend finding partners and sharing the cost. And you don't even have to go through airmojo.io. I'm just saying this just flat out. It makes more financial sense to share the cost, because most pilots and owners only fly 100 hours or less every year. So that's 99% of the time that airplane is not flying. So better to share the cost. But right now, it is more difficult and more challenging for new owners to get into the market. Now, just like the housing market, I'm hoping that things start to die down a little bit, but I can't say that for sure. Even with the housing market, in some states, in some markets, you still have very high costs for single family homes, and there's still bidding wars going on. But We have seen the market trickle down a little bit when it comes to real estate. I'm hoping the same thing happens with airplanes. But as for right now, it would be more challenging and definitely more expensive to find an airplane. Any airplane that you're looking at, that's just the case. But we hope the price goes down. And when that happens, you'd be the first to know. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if this is your first time. Also consider becoming a paid member. Thank you all so much for the support. Greatly appreciate it. And I will catch you on the next video. Peace.